we have formations.
Yeah. And this gets really difficult to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, so a while back we transitioned from the sensory world into things beyond the senses. So with formations, now we transition to stuff that's beyond consciousness. So you can't, by definition, even become conscious of formations.
No.
So formations are tendencies, karmic impulses.
Right.
You can't be aware of them. Sometimes in meditation, when the mind gets really, really calm and quiet, you'll start to get a sense of these, which is an inclination towards something,
like a resonance, morphic resonance type thing, or like a habitual thing.
I mean, I think that's a useful way to think of it, as some habit, some sort of habit or habitual tendency.
A proclivity towards something. Yeah.
Now, every so often, you can catch yourself in the process of doing that thing that you always do.
Yeah.
But you do it so often, and it's so much a part of you that you don't notice. You're not aware of it. You're not conscious.
Yeah, until you notice it. It's kind of similar a bit to doing something or having an opinion, and then realizing that's not even my opinion. That's just something my mother told me. I don't even believe it. But it's just, until you see that, it's just that's there. It's playing out. It's there. You're acting on it, and then you go, hold on, I don't even believe that.
I mean, that, just to say, Tommy, that's an excellent example, because that thing my mother told me, it's not even yours. It's not even yours.
Yeah.
It's some kind of karmic influence that's acting upon you and causing you to act in a certain way.
That you just think is true, is real, until you see it. Yeah. So could we say, in a sense, that formations is like it's a conditional thing. It's conditions in a sense that it's conditioning you in a way. I know it's hard with this, because you kind of go, it's pre-conscious, but I suppose there has to be some condition for in which consciousness can emerge. So there has to be some proclivity that whatever creation is forms consciousness, that has a thing towards.
Yeah, a deeply Buddhist concept. So in Buddhism, there's no self, there's no soul. These are just terms for something that isn't separate or individual. And the Buddhists have this idea of reincarnation. If there's no self or soul, what is it that gets reincarnated if it's not that? Well, the answer that's given is that it's karma. Yeah. And this is what's being captured in this card. So the cause of consciousness, it's not a self or a soul that's pre-existing. What gives rise to consciousness is karma.
It's a great one to sit with that because it kind of messes with your brain a bit, because because it's so far back. It's like what level of condition can you have that far back? What level of formation? But something's coming together. Something is forming. Like the initial picture, or the traditional picture, is a potter, right? Isn't it? A guy making pottery. So that's formation of a thing, something coming together or being made.
Yeah, and the thing that's made, it's going to bear all the traces of the potter.
Yes,
what gets made, it's going to be, the shape of his hands that determine that, what sort of mood he was in on that day.
How good a pottery is. Type of clay. Yeah.
Every pot is different, isn't it, depending on the circumstances.
So if you look at it from a human point of view, the formations is that which happens it's the stuff you've brought in with you. It's nature rather than nurture. It's not stuff you've learned here. It's just the things that you've arrived with that are your basis from where you work out from. Would that be correct?
Well, it's tricky. It's so difficult to talk about, because we're beyond the level of the individual here.
Sure, yeah.
We're beyond consciousness. We're beyond the individual. Consciousness arising as the net result of karmic tendencies, stretching back into the past. I mean, another way of thinking of it, maybe, you know, a kind of analogy again on an individual level is when we meditate, when we want to concentrate on something or become aware of it, we have to make that effort. We have to incline ourselves in that direction. You know, maybe that's the way
so is
of
it
thinking.
the say of saying that consciousness appears because there is an inclination for consciousness to appear?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I can rest with that.
Yeah. Like when we concentrate, you know, we don't just suddenly find ourselves, you know, right into something. We have to set up the conditions for that to happen. We often have to bring some effort and some awareness into it.
Okay, so divinations. So you have willpower. So we're saying it's will, I suppose, then would be.
Yeah. And, you know, intention, putting effort into making something happen.
From a divinatory point of view, would it be the forming of something rather than the plan? Is it like, or is it the plan? Like if you're, see, it's the hard and the great bits about it is that it's all joined together. But it's, and I'm trying to probably pinpoint something that isn't that pinpointable. But it's if you were going to write a book, at what point is formation pointing at? Is it the idea, I'm going to write a book? Is it buying all the equipment, the computer, the word processor, the thing? Is it writing the actual book? Is no one reading it on Amazon formation? Like where would it fit?
Yeah, I would say it's anything that comes before writing the book.
Right. Okay.
You know, it's that planning, that intention, that making, that engineering of circumstances.
The conditions that lead to the book exist.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would the dark side of this be?
Well, part of the dark side of this could be negative karma, habits that aren't recognised or can't be resisted.
Your past catching up to you or something like that.
Yeah. Being entrapped in existing forms that you can't easily get out of. I mean, I think one of the things you've got going on here, Tommy, is, you know, a bit of an echo of the wisdom card, you know, which is the one that comes at the very end of the sequence, which is about enlightenment, awakening.
Yeah.
You know, which you've got a meditating figure in this one, but here, you know, you've got something taking shape, something taking form. And
I suppose the line coming up again, it echoes the birth stuff as well. Like it's the umbilical cord. It's one single line forming this. So it's a thing coming together out of one thing, I suppose. And then you could make the argument that it is in the heart area. What's going on there? Is it the sky? Is it something in the background? Is it? They all seem to blend into each other. The head. So, you know, there's already a kind of the light that ends up in psyche is kind of coming in, you know, it's like the prerequisites for stuff is kind of coming together. That's the kind of idea. It hasn't formed, but, you know, it can't turn into anything else at this point.
I mean, that line suggests that what we've got here isn't fully fleshed out. It's a sketch. It's sketchy. And that is sort of what we're implying here. You know, when we plan something or have an intention, you know, it's a sketch. It's It's not fully together. And you know, we can only really sort of point to this idea because it is beyond manifestation. We can only ever have a sketch, and it is a sketch.
Yeah, that's a good one. Plenty in that. You could sit with that one for a while. So, behind it all, our chains of causation have brought us to ignorance. So we've learned nothing, Duncan, along the way. We're stuck in ignorance.